All right. Hello and welcome. It is Sunday. I'm running late today. This is Snowbirds meeting room. I'm Shadow Spectre 11, and today I'm going to go over the mission statement ISC Foundation Festival and the PTU patch notes that dropped. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and get started with it, and here we go. So, as you all have seen, the ISC, it was a good one. It was about the new cargo setup, and the SCL was about that with the developers, but also with the blockade runner event that replaced the Nine Tails lockdown. So without any further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and start running it.
Alpha 324 has a variety of life in the verse changing aspects, including the personal persistent hangars, freight elevators, and the next step forward in physicalized inventory. But with these changes come a new era in cargo-specific mission content. Different than the commodity runs you might be used to, we spoke in depth about this in our recent Making Missions 2 episode of Star Citizen Live, which you should check out if you haven't already. Your at Nick did great. And on this week's ISC, they're joined by Elliot and yet another Nick to show you these new cargo missions and reintroduce us to the long-mentioned Blockade Runner global event.
So how many of these do you think you've done at this point?
Videos for you, I don't know, over 20.
You still like doing them?
Yeah.
This is the third one, so I guess I've done 2 before this.
This will be my second.
What was your first one?
Also Blockade Runner.
This your first one? You nervous? Tiny bit. They got easier or harder?
Easier. When I first started, I was focused too much on the camera, and that was making me think too much.
When there's a camera pointed at you, it's still a little bit different than just speaking to people, but...
Either tried to look at you or thought that the camera was someone. It made it easier because it felt like I was just talking to someone instead of looking at a machine trying to be perfect.
So you stopped trying to be perfect.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm just like, yeah.
That should have been easy for you.
New system.
Unsafe transect, this sector has been resolved. Civilians are advised to avoid engaging in space travel.
Blockade Runner is an event that focuses on cargo hauling and space combat.
The inhabitants of a station ask for aid. The bad guys have blockaded one of these stations, and the citizens there need help to get certain supplies from outside to go back in.
The idea with it is that you would have someone who flies a cargo ship and loads up full of cargo, and then have a bunch of escort ships that help fight them. However, the way they now have to get the cargo means they have to actually go and extract it from pirates who have taken it from the station.
We wanted to make a cargo-based event because a lot of our current events are really heavy on combat. And cargo's been kind of underutilized on the global event scene, and we thought it would be fun to work that into our usual design.
Okay, for those that are new to the game, this event was called the Nine Tails Lockdown, and you had a choice of either being a cargo runner that would run medical supplies to a station, or run escort for the cargo ships going in, or be on the other side, the pirate side, and try and stop everybody from getting in. I enjoyed the event because I love cargo running and doing dips and dives and stuff like that. But a lot of people didn't play it. And also at the end of it, there would come a capital ship and you could get in on the battle if you decided to do that. It would be like you would take you would get 1,000,000 of if you're running a C2, and you would get pretty good profit off of it. Well, they shut it down for a while, and they reworked it, so this is the end the new event. So we'll see this when 24 drops and go from there.
The response we saw from Xenothreat, when we first put Xenothreat out, we really liked when we saw players working together in kind of like a Dunkirk type moment where one person had pulled up, just opened the ramp, a couple of people had cleared the wreck already, and then they're all just throwing cargo into the back of someone's ship. They don't know this person, they've not talked to them, but everyone understands their role in this space they've created. And there's people who are flying above, sort of also protecting against the waves of Ninetales that were coming to the wreck. And it was just this beautiful mix of people who just all kind of knew exactly what role they fit into and asked no questions and just got the job done. We wanted to recreate that feeling in its own event. So the flow of Blockade Runner is when you start the mission, you will receive marker points of potential sites where a pirate could be that has stolen cargo from the station that's requesting its return.
A hostile enemy force has attacked one of the LEOs throughout Stanton, and they've stolen a great deal of Zeta Prolanide from it. This Zeta Prolanide's been shipped out, it's being carried away, and the remainder of the enemy force has stayed behind, surrounding the LEO in a blockade. It's up to players of the verse to chase down these enemy ships that contain the stolen material, defeat them in combat, reclaim the material,
either via the use of distortion weapons to make sure you get every piece of cargo that's on board the ship, or via killing it and maybe getting less, but you run less of the risk of dying yourself.
Once they do recover the stolen material from the ships scattered throughout space, they'll have to make their way past the blockade and return into the LEO.
There will be ships flying around that you have to actually disable while trying to land, or else you could lose all of your cargo.
Either way, their goal is to land safely at the LEO with the stolen material on. And once they have that, they get to use our fancy new cargo elevator mechanic to return the stolen cargo to the station.
The reward for Blockade is based off of participation. There will be, similar to Xenothreat, there'll be a bar that fills up with contribution, and every time that bar kind of ticks over, you'll get a payment, and then you'll get a big chunk at the end when all of the SCU amount of cargo has been retrieved back to the station. So to get all of the cargo, I'd recommend using distortion weapons and boarding the ship. This way you can ensure that you get everything out of the cargo hold. Whereas if you do it the other way, you know, you go from this 100% sort of loot to maybe 30%. There's going to be a big difference to encourage a different type of gameplay that players aren't really used to playing in our game.
I think a lot of the game loops in our game are a bit drawn out, and I like to think that you can get into the action pretty quick with this, and it's a relatively tight game loop, all things considering. I hope people will be able to jump in and out of it as they see fit and have a good time.
Boost your revenue and drive growth with Google Ads. Reach high-value customers across.
In addition to Blockade Runner, we're also adding a bunch of hauling missions that also utilize the freight elevator and instance hangars we're going to get.
With the introduction of freight elevators, we can now make missions that we were never able to make before.
Up until now, we haven't really.
So, hey, Tribunal. So this is what I've been waiting for. When I first started playing the game, I was pretty much nothing but a cargo pilot. And I enjoy running cargo back and forth. And with this, because of the way it's set up, there were no cargo missions in the game. There still aren't, but they're coming in 24. You wouldn't get any reputation. You would spend your money, and if you were destroyed, you would lose your money. Gracias, mia. Thank you. And with that, a lot of people were taking a lot of chances and things like that. So with this new mission statement setup, where the cargo, you're getting contracts now, you're building reputation, you're starting off pretty low, and
I buy two.
oh,
For you, two for me, two for Gabi.
oh, gracias mia.
Want coffee?
Oh no, I'm okay, gracias. So with that, I think this is going to be a lot more fun. I've been waiting for this to come for a long time, and King Payne and I have talked about this, that we wanted to do this a long time ago. So it's finally coming. So let's just go through it.
Had any missions which allow you to use your cargo grid. You won't have to go to various different parts of a station or find a ground station to get your land vehicle. You'll be able to get everything you need for your trip organized in one place.
Now,
So for those that are wondering about Area 18, we know in Orison you can't get vehicles there. With the new instance hangar and persistence hangar, you'll be able to get your ground vehicles, load them onto the ship, and then go from there. You won't have to worry about it, and it's something that a lot of people are waiting for, especially those that live on Area 18, because that's where I'm based at right now, and that's one thing I've been waiting for a while. So
now I can just go to my hangar and there's an ASOP terminal in there, and I can watch my ship go down and come up, and I can have all my boxes out. The ability it gives me to build the missions that I love is insane.
So for me as an economy designer, freight elevators means that I can reward players for new game loops and different types of activity that they haven't been able to fully play before, such as loading and unloading your cargo, figuring out logistics, and actually allowing players to monetize that effort and get a suitable reward for it. So the more time and effort that it takes to use the freight elevators and do the hauling missions effectively, the more opportunities I have as an economy designer to find the appropriate rewards for players for that game loop. And I don't want to see any Reddit threads on the rewards for these missions, because at the time of filming, we're still weeks away.
That means the numbers you see in this episode aren't the real numbers. Don't go to Reddit. Give this guy a break. They'll be real by the time the thing comes out.
You might be thinking, well, we've been moving boxes for a few years now. Those delivery missions already exist. What makes cargo hauling missions so special? Well, in cargo hauling missions, we're actually allowing you to move real commodity containers with real value through the verse. You're not stuck with 1 SCU boxes. If you're asked to move 400 SCU, those will actually be intelligently packed by the system into different container sizes, which means you'll be able to load them up on your cargo grids for your cargo ships the way you've always wanted to organize them.
These missions will handle high volume of cargo. These missions are built for people who are going to own a Caterpillar, people who are going to own a Hull C. These are mimicking a logistical framework that's going to be needed in, a system, a universe this big, to transport the goods to and from different locations.
Let me give you some examples. You find a mission where a few different outposts on the surface of Hurston have mined some iron, and you've got to bring it up to Lorville, where then it can be transported further from there. So you go to each of these outposts, you land at that location, and there, in the warehouse of that outpost, those containers will be waiting for you where you can call it up through the freight elevator. You load it up into your ship, and then you figure out what the next location is, and the next location, and the next location. And you can basically do those in any order you like.
You'll have single pickup, single drop-off, so this could be picking up from the LEOs around ArtCorp, the Lagrange points, for example, and taking it to Area 18 or to Beijing Point, the station above. Then you'll have a multi-pickup and a singular drop-off. And then the opposite of that, which is singular pickup to multi-drop-off, could be the complete opposite, where you go from a Hurston DC to 2 other outposts delivering goods. It also lets us do a first static setup of what is being called StarSim, where we can test out the flow and then actually make the dynamic side of it work, where we can balance it based off of the needs and wants of the actual locations.
I want to give you this book for free. It contains the exact roadmap that you can use.
The work that I was involved with missions with Yorit was to use the EVR algorithm that I created to make sure that all of the effort that you put in has a commensurate reward. EVR stands for effort versus reward. The EVR algorithm is a general balancing algorithm we've developed that takes into account the time and the difficulty of what you're doing, and it gives you a reward that is appropriate for that. So if you do something that takes a long time but isn't very difficult, or if you do something that takes a short time but is very difficult, you're going to get appropriately rewarded. So obviously, this kind of thing, effort and reward, isn't a new concept. It's been around since the beginning of computer games. But as the economy team moves forwards and we work on all of the exciting new features that are coming out, we're really happy to be able to bring this kind of coherent approach to the entire game economy.
In the end, cargo hauling missions aren't about how good you are at shooting the bad guys. It's about figuring out which hauls the universe needs. And ultimately, it's about having fun delivering some boxes. Thanks for watching, everybody.
So what did we learn this week? Well, hopefully that the cargo missions aim to provide a more involved and deliberate experience.
So this is like really, really exciting. I'm just hoping that we have some good stability in 24 to be able to enjoy it and have a good time with it. If you have any questions or comments about it, please feel free. Shoot me something in texts and even on the Discord, and just let me know what you think. We all know that this was supposed to come out in 23, and there was a lot of issues and things going on. So if you think about it, everything that has been written for 23 and 24 is coded for 4.0. So there may be a lot of issues because of the server. Just a shame the Zeus CO wasn't ready for this coming patch. I agree. I thought that the Zeus... Well, you know what? We don't know. It may come for this patch. We don't know. Excuse me. I mean, they didn't say anything about it, but they may surprise us, but we don't know. And I think it should have been especially for this patch, and then the ES come for 4.0 because that's the Explorer. But you're right. I think it should have dropped for that. So we'll see. That's all I can say. So I'm just going to go ahead and get out of this. This is the one thing that I was really excited about when I saw this. So the next one, where are my patch notes? Hold on one moment. And here we go with patch notes. So we all know that this was something that was going to be brought up. It's still in Evocati, U.S. only, and we do see the testing focus, the personal instance hangars, freight elevators, storage access, hangar decorations, cargo hauling missions. Now, there are some people in Evocati that have actually done some. Space Guy Ty has told me some things about what's going on in there. It has been a roller coaster, kind of, because of the drops and things like that. We'll see how it goes. I'm hoping that it gets better. He's been getting server errors. He's got a couple 30Ks and things like that. But he was able to get in the hangar. He was able to bring his ship up. He purchased the ship and he wasn't able to get it. For some reason, there were some things going on where the instance hangars were converging all at once. And that's what he had told me, so we'll see. It is getting better, as far as I know. These are some of the things where they said they updated the cargo loading time to be based on box size instead of per SCU. Updated description text, intro cargo missions, and things like that. Made further mass mode atmospheric flight tunings. And we do know now that they finally have updated the law system where the SRV will not get, you will not get a crime stat for towing, salvaging ships that are just out there. So now that's some great news. So we'll see what happens with that. That's pretty much it for the patch notes. I am still trying to get into Evocati so I can get there and do some things and be able to give you some first-hand information on it. When it comes time for the PTU Wave 1, I will be in there and doing that. So, go from there. Alright, as you know, we are in a free fly and the Foundation Festival has dropped. So, the rewards were kind of the same from last year, but this is different. The armor set is different. These were the same from last year. This cap and this is different. I don't think there was a 100i paint. The referral bonus is different. So if you are new to the game or just getting ready to download it, you can just hook up that way and use the referral code, and you'll get extra money and you'll get a Nox. So this is the org recruitment community test contest. I can make something like 60 seconds and see how it works out. We'll see how that works out. I still have a little time. Okay, so there's with this one they did something really neat. You can see the guides and different things of that nature, how to use the master modes for each vehicle and stuff like that, which is kind of cool. And then here are the Foundation Festival ships and things of that nature. So what else is there? The Valkyrie and that type of business, and the starter packs. So being a guide, which I am, you can set up yourself as a guide. You can put in what you want to teach and things of that nature. With the Foundation Festival setup, okay, you can, pardon me, you can go through the master modes, and it shows you the different setup, which this is good. They didn't show this before when they first brought out master modes and things of that. I thought this was really good. Then you've also, you can go back to Foundation Festival, and you can you can get a guide. So there is, when you get in the game, you can set up and find a guide, and it will open the website and take you to the guide hub, and that's where you can find a guide to help you out, teach you some things, pick up some new stuff, or even doing the refresher basics, vehicle combat and stuff like that. So I can take myself off right now. And this is what you can work on. Okay? Got all of these things, and it's kind of cool. So I'll put myself back on. And that's pretty much what's going on with this particular Snowbird reading. Just a recap of some quick things from the week. The new ship variant of the Saber, there's still a lot of things going on with that. We don't know if it's going to be a interdictor or a racer, so we'll just have to wait and see. But from that little clip that they were showing, it looks like it's going to be a racer dipping in and out of buildings and stuff like that. So we'll find out. We'll see. So that's pretty much it for this Snowbirds meeting room. This was a quick one. Hopefully the next one we'll be able to get in and see Wave 1 in action. That's what I'm hoping for. But the next ISC is supposed to be about the jump points. That is going to be interesting to watch. So as soon as that one premieres, I'll be taking a look at it, check it out, and then discuss it on Sunday. So I'm Shadow Spectre 11. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate the likes and the views. And everybody, have a wonderful, wonderful day, and take care. Thanks, Tribunal.
It was on earlier, it was fine.
Hello, everybody.